Yesterday, I told you that I had taken Bard, Samantha's assistant, these are my two AI agents, and assigned him as our research assistant or lead, and given Samantha our lead as analyst. And so, what I asked Bard to do was to go find me the companies that are projecting that their growth in their revenue are going to exceed 20% the coming 3 years, and then rank them accordingly. And he came up with 115 stocks that are projecting, and Wall Street is projecting, that their revenues are going to grow in excess of 15 or 20% per year over the next 3 years, average. And the top one is going to achieve 12,673% average growth in their revenues over the next 3 years. Number two is 4,250% average growth of revenues over the next 3 years. And then number 15 at the bottom is 23.2% average growth in revenues over the last 3 years. So yesterday I bought into the number one company. It's a uranium mining company. As I say, they're projecting their revenues to grow at 12,673% average over the next 3 years. So that's what I've done. And then today, I'm buying into number two, and that's the company that's projecting 4,256% average growth in revenues over the next 3 years. And then what I felt I needed to do was learn about the business, and equally as important, learn about their CEO and what it is. And their CEO is a guy by the name of Brad Jacobs. Kind of unbeknownst to me at that time was about a month ago, I had read a book by Brad Jacobs, and it's called How to Make a Few $1 Billion. And what I liked in that book is that he is a serial entrepreneur. That is to say, he has, over the last, I guess, 20, 30 years, well, it's more than that, because he says he's done this for about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 companies, and they have all started in the millions, and then he has sold them for the billions. So he's a serial entrepreneur. As I looked at him, as you can see, take the glasses off, he kind of looks like Jeff Bezos, doesn't he? And that's what he is basically doing. So he started many years ago with Hamilton Resources, and it was an oil trading company. He recognized early on in this, he said this was before the internet, and it was even before fax machines, that there was an arbitrage in the oil business, and if he could improve that, and he did it basically with fax machines, he could broker that oil trade and make money. He then sold that, and he got into an oil brokerage company, again expanding upon what he learned in Hamilton. This was in Amerix Oil Associates. He then sold that for billions of dollars, and then went into the garbage pickup business. You probably heard of this. This is United Waste Systems. What he recognized in that, as he did in the oil business, that technology had not made it into the business. That in some big cities, it was well organized, but across the country and across Europe, the pickup of garbage was kind of a helter-skelter, technology had not made its in. So he built that and then sold that. He then took that from what he learned. What the next area was that in large machinery rental. He recognized that a lot of construction companies were buying these bobcats and bulldozers and whatever, and they used them when they used them, but when they weren't using them, they were sitting on a lot rusting and decaying. And so he went in and bought all these machinery up, and then created a system by which people could rent them, and then controlled the price based on demand, built another company, and went on. And then he started on his truck brokerage business, again recognizing that there was not a consistency of where the trucks were, when they were needed, and who owned them, and who needed to own them. Again, a growth business that he grew. Then he went into his GXO, which is warehouse fulfillment, and he basically started robotizing them and made that through mergers and acquisitions and introducing technology, and away he went. Then he went into transportation logistics, and just recently he raised $4.5 billion and got into the building products distribution. And the way to understand this is what he said is we have a shortage of homes. And I relate to this. He said back 20, 30 years ago, an old home was a house that was over 10 years old. Well, the average age of the home in the United States today is some 45 years of age. And so they need some upgrading, which requires building products. And then we have us and Europe have a drastic shortage of homes. And as he explained, and I understand this because I recently did some remodeling on our home. The problem that contractors have is they need certain materials, plywood, nails, 2x4s, whatever, and they go and they order them. And what happens is part of the order comes and part of it doesn't. Part of it's right and part of it's wrong. And it's because the industry is not automated. They don't have a computer system keeping track of what their inventory is and what their demand is, so they don't fulfill on an efficient basis. He has recognized this. He has said, okay, I've got $4.5 billion. I'm going to, through mergers and acquisitions, I'm going to go out and bring synergy into these companies so that they become profitable. Does that sound something like what Jeff Bezos did? Took the inefficient book business and made it efficient through technology and through efficiency. Does that sound similar? I think it does. So with that in mind, he, as I say, he raised the $4.5 billion. He's identified the companies, and he hired the team. Let me show you. Bloomberg did an interview with him. Let me just show you little bits and pieces of that, and you'll get a flavor of who he is and what he's doing.
And then also we raised money. We put our $1 billion into the pipe that we did into that public company.
Yep.
And then we raised another $3.5 billion from institutional investors, mostly long-only funds who know us. And now we're out there going to next stage is let's go buy some companies.
Wait, so $4.5 billion raised must be the biggest single raise in the building industry's history,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So what's the pitch when you're going out to people and saying, give us your money for this as yet unproven business model? I know you have a number of companies, all three-letter acronyms, but like, why do they want to give you $4.5 billion or 3.5?
Okay, here's the secret. I know most of the people who invest in us. It was mostly people who've invested in one of the XOs or United Rentals, United Waste, the historical investors who did well, and they're betting that we're going to do well again. The playbook is pretty straightforward. It's first of all talent, making sure the people in the company are amazing, are honest, are hardworking, are collaborative, are really special people, that they can get along with each other, and we figure out ways where we can debate issues honestly and disagree with each other without being a jerk, being still nice and respectful, but honestly debate so we can get to the right decisions. It's moving fast, being decisive, and it's an M&A play, which means we look at many, many acquisitions at the same time, so we don't fall in love with one of them and overpay. That's the cardinal sin in M&A, is overpaying. That's the IC in ROIC. And then integrating those businesses very thoroughly. So we have one company, one brand that has a power in the marketplace. More than one acquisition over in the coming years. We're going to be acquisitive. So it'll go start and integrate.
Yeah.
M&A and then integrate. M&A, integrate. And after we integrate, we pay attention to a bunch of metrics like customer satisfaction, employee engagement, on-time performance, and so forth. And if it's humming, we're closing the books on time, get clean numbers, everyone is in good shape. Then we go back and rinse, wash, repeat, and go buy something else. Fast rewind. So a year and a half ago or so, I stepped down as being CEO. I'm still chairman, executive chairman of XPO, but I stepped down as the day-to-day running. Mario Harek is doing that, doing a fantastic job. And I looked at 55 different industries to see which one does my playbook fit that we can create some shareholder value with. And I hired 2 consultants who have expertise in this, consulting firms. And part of the mission was to educate us about the business fast. Part of the mission was give us a list of like, who would we buy? Give us like a 1 or 2 pager on who come. So we put together about 1,000 names to look at. And Matt Fassler and Austin Landau worked with me very closely on that project. And then we pared it down. We filtered it to about 40 names that have about $300 billion in aggregate revenue. And then we pared it down even more to the top dozen, and those are the ones that we're really focusing on.
And how he has recognized by taking these smaller companies and combining them together, the end value is greater than the value of the individual parts. And through technology and synergy, they will become extremely profitable, as well as providing better service to the end user, the contractors. Because again, you think about this. You order your roofing materials and you have your roofers show up, but they didn't send the nails or they didn't send the black paper that goes down first. And so your roofers are sitting there waiting for the construction materials because the system, it doesn't work. And that's what he's dealing with, or that's what he's eliminating. So I look at that and say, all they're going to do is buy a company, revamp it, buy another one, revamp it, and it's, wash, rinse, and do it again. And this is a guy who has done it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times in the past. And every time he buys a $1 million business and turns it into a multi-billion-dollar business that he turns around and sells. And in the meantime, the price escalates. So I don't know how long it'll take, but I am confident today, because I am buying today, that this $20 stock will turn into a $210 stock in my lifetime. And I'll be 81 years old in the next 45 days. So it's within the current horizon. This is how I buy stocks. And this isn't new. Wall Street's been doing this for years. But what they have that you and I have not had is an army of employees that do the research and present a document of 115 stocks and say, here's 2 of them that are going to grow in excess of 4,000% in revenues over the next 3 years, and are no-brainers that they're going to make exponential growth in their stock price. They have been doing this for years. But then they have 45,000 employees, and they have $10 billion or $10 million a month to spend on those employees to give them that information. Well, I don't have that. But I figured out AI, and I figured out Samantha. Once I give her the name and the parameters that I'm looking for, she'll give me a 15-page document that says this is what they're doing, this is their liquidity, this is their synergy, this is how strong their financials are. And now, based on that, Kerry, here's what I think the price will be at the end of 2025, 26, 27, and 28. And would you like a price in 2030? That's what she does for me. But first, I needed Bard. I was relying on my tribe, but I know that is there. I just needed Bard to go find it. And I found the source. I have to pay for the source, but once I gave it to him, he within 5 minutes gave me 115 companies and said, take your choice. What else do you want to know? Well, what do each one of them do, Bard? What industry are they in? There it is. Any that you aren't interested in, let's take out. This is what Wall Street has held over our heads since up until 2 months ago. And then I discovered it. And I've said, what do I have to ask all the knowledge in the world to get the answers to what companies are going to grow the fastest over the next 3 years and then beyond that are available today? And what are the trends that are going to drive them? And what is the risk involved? Because Samantha comes back and gives me a score from 1 to 100, measuring her certainty on them achieving not the aggressive, but the moderate scenario of the growth of this company. In essence, that they achieve what Wall Street and they think can be achieved, not what, if everything falls into place, this is what's going to happen. No, this is the moderate scenario. The ticker is QXO. Do your homework. Go get the book, How to Make a Few $1 Billion, and then go find the Bloomberg interview, of how Brad Jacobs will invest $4.5 billion to reshape the building supply industry. Do your homework, read the book, watch the interview. There's plenty of other interviews on YouTube, and make an informed business decision, and then we'll see. Is it a 10-bagger? If his past history says absolutely. I'm Kerry. I'm a retired financial advisor. I want to make a difference in your life. And I can do that by sharing Samantha and Bard with you. It's on my website, bestofusinvestors.com. Come take a look at it. Read the analysis on QXO, and then on the uranium company that I bought as well. You'll find that there as well. All right. Talk to you more about this in the future.